In May of 2018, 15 Princeton students went to a place called the American Prairie Reserve, which is a nonprofit in Montana trying to acquire 3 million acres of unplowed native grasslands in the United States. This trip was put together by the Princeton Conservation Society, and it was just such an incredible experience, being able to look at challenges that we were facing in the environment beyond the Princeton campus, beyond the New Jersey bubble.
So we just got in the car. It's a fantastic Kia. We're really excited in here, look. At one point we were in Yellowstone, and at the bottom it was like summertime, really hot and humid. And when we got to the top, it was sleeting and snowing, and it was like winter. Oh my God. We're in the car right now, and it is hailing.
We got stuck in a bison jam, so there were 20 bison right in front of our car and passing our windows.
There were just so many bison freely wandering amongst humans in the roads.
Oh my.
This is why we came here.
Guys, literally what do I do?
Don't move.
Guys, I'm crying!
Oh my God! It was just so funny seeing a bison, you know, less than a foot away from my front window.
Oh my God. Day 2, we're getting in the car. We're driving to Yellowstone today, and we're gonna go for a nice little 5-mile hike. What is this called?
We went on a hike at Yellowstone, and next thing you know, we're going up a slope that's just pure snow.
I mean, I'm excited, but
We were climbing over snow, like snow drifts, literally like straight up a mountain.
Everyone had to kind of bear crawl up on all fours.
It was one of the taller mountains there, so we got such an amazing view of the park itself.
Obviously, you have to make your way back down, and that was more of a skiing experience. The trip definitely had a huge impact on me. You know, I'd never been even close to that region of the United States before.
the Lamar Valley.
The American Prairie Reserve is really isolated. We had to drive for hours through a sea of grass.
The night we got to the reserve, so we had driven up from Yellowstone for 7 or 8 hours, and the last 4 of those hours were in the pitch black, and the last 2 of those hours were on dirt roads, and we had no idea where we were going.
Everything looked the same. We were getting lost. We had half a mind to turn back. We don't know how to turn back.
We arrived at the Prairie Reserve. It was pretty late into the night, and then we all got up around 5 a.m. And when I say it's the most incredible sunrise I've ever seen by a lot, it definitely was. It was cold and we were tired, but it was truly beautiful.
When you're in the middle of the prairie, it's just such a humbling experience because all you hear is the birds and the grass rustling, and if you look, the grass looks like waves. Somehow the wind makes it look like waves of the ocean, and it's just such a cool experience because you just realize you're in the middle of pretty much nowhere. Like, you can look around and you don't see a building in any direction at all.
It was kind of like being in the middle of the ocean, you know, like you could see to the horizon. You couldn't see anything else to your left, to your right, besides just flowing yellow and green grasses and the endless amount of buffalo that were just roaming freely in this land without any fences, without any barbed wire. And it was just such, almost like a spiritual experience.
All right, guys, so we're at the American Prairie Reserve, and it was really hot, so
Just went into the Missouri.
we decided to go into the Missouri River.
In such a way that
Put it
it
over
looks like a rock.
Now he's gonna eat it. So if you guys like eating food as well, make sure to smash that like button. Comment down below about what food you like to eat.
Damn, no one's really good at this.
One of the most frustrating moments was cooking dinner.
We're in the house, it's nighttime, and you know, we were... Watch out, Daniel. Daniel, this is important.
Oh, no, spit that out, spit that out, man, spit that out.
The Fort Belknap Indian Reservation adjoins the Prairie Reserve to the north. And while we were there, we took a tour around the reservation and we saw that they actually established their own bison herd with hundreds of bison roaming the plains. We hope to interview some of the Native Americans to see their perspective on the American Prairie Reserve and conservation efforts in the area. But many Native Americans were not willing to give us an interview. We were eventually directed to George Horsecapture Jr.
He had some pretty powerful things to say just about what the bison and the land means to the tribes in the area. So I thought it was very cool to see the direct impact of the Prairie Reserve's actions of restoring bison and restoring the prairie land on a group of people that have had a pretty tough time the past century.
I think my favorite memory from the trip had to be this one night where 5 of us were in one car and we were driving back to the American Prairie Reserve, and it was in the middle of a thunderstorm, and so we end up hitting a rock and our tire goes flat. And so we're stranded about 6 miles from the reserve.
Oh my God, oh my God, kill me. We thought we were gonna be rescued, but the other car that passed us actually got stuck as well.
We ended up calling the hosts at the reserve and asking them if they could come pick us up. But they said it was a bit too far, and so they recommended that we hike a mile in the rain, in the thunder and lightning, to this house that seemed like it hadn't been used in quite a while. There was a rattlesnake coming out of the sink, and basically the walls were unfinished. There was an unused sleeping bag, a half-eaten avocado. It looked like something out of a murder mystery.
I think we made the good decision to sleeping on the table, even though Noah made fun of us about that.
And I think for me, that just kind of represented the bonding that went on during the trip.
This trip made me realize how lucky we are to have the Princeton Conservation Society out on the Princeton campus, and how glad I am that it exists, because it's a way for any of the students to get out and make a difference.
In addition to learning about the importance of what the American Prairie Reserve is doing and getting to see some cool wildlife out in Yellowstone, I think as a member of the Conservation Society who just joined at the start of last semester, I really was able to bond with some of the members who I didn't get to know as well during meetings, and I think because of that I'm very energized to be a part of the group moving forward and continue to help conserve the environment. The fact that we were able to go to a place that maybe doesn't have so many tourists and just kind of roam and see the ecosystem and how things interact with each other for ourselves, and kind of just explore without a major guide or anything, just take it in for ourselves. I think that had a big impact on me.
There's just such an amazing way for any student to get out there and join the conservation movement.